The heat is hot and it is on, and the last thing you want to be dealing with are those pesky little itchy bumps that crop up when you've gotten too sweaty and hot. Commonly referred to as prickly heat. I'm going to tell you guys today a strategy, an approach, a protocol, if you will, to get rid of these suckers really quickly and how to prevent them from coming back. Because let me tell you, this kind of rash, it really can put a damper in your day, especially if you work outdoors. Not just adults develop this, but little babies as well. What the heck is prickly heat anyway? Otherwise known as heat rash, miliaria. Basically what happens is when you get hot and you produce a bunch of sweat, sometimes that sweat can end up blocking the sweat glands because it can't get out because there's too much occlusion going on the surface of the skin. Plugs up the sweat gland, you get this inflamed bump, and depending on how deep the plug goes, the bumps can just look like little pimples. You can get these little water blisters, or you can get a full-on pus bump. You might think it's like acne or something. This happens in adults most commonly in the skin folds because those are areas where you have skin-on-skin contact and you tend to sweat a lot. The skin-on-skin contact traps the sweat up close to the skin surface. It gets trapped down in the sweat gland, and that's what leads to heat rash. But you can get it all over. Little babies, their sweat glands are immature, a lot more prone to being clogged, if you will, with sweat. And if you swaddle them up, wrap them up really tightly, and they get too warm, this can happen. The purpose of sweat is not to detoxify. Repeat after me. Sweat does not detoxify the body. You drink a bunch of booze, you overdo it with the schnapps, sweat is not going to make you sober up. It only will help you to cool off, but if you sweat too much, you can get dehydrated. Anyway, that's the point of sweat, is to cool your body. So when you don't allow the sweat to come out effectively because it's occluded and you're sweating profusely, it really can do a wackadoodle on your thermoregulatory mechanisms, make you more vulnerable to overheating. So when you develop this, my number one tip, which is inconvenient, frankly, but it's what you have to do. You need to get out of the heat, okay? If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. You got to come inside, put the air conditioning on. If you don't have central AC, turn a fan on, get cool, pull the shades down so the room is nice and cool. Do whatever you can to cool yourself off. You got to get out of the heat. If you've got a flare up of prickly heat, not only is it going to get worse if you continue to be out in the hot environment, sweating, but you're not going to be able to put out the sweat you need to cool your body. So that makes kind of a slippery slope and puts you at risk for heat-related illnesses like heat stroke. Check out my video on heat stroke, especially those of you out there who are working outdoors in the heat. You need to know about that. That is a workplace hazard for you. You need the deets on all things heat-related illness. So once you come inside, the thing that's going to help you out the most is not some jazzy skincare routine. You don't need all of that. Instead, what you need to do is get yourself a washcloth and get it wet, put it in the freezer for a few minutes so it gets really cold, and do a cold compress. That's going to feel really nice on the skin because the skin is really itchy and overheated, and it will help distract those little itch signals, because the last thing you want to do is scratch the skin. When you have miliaria, heat rash, prickly heat, whatever you want to call it, scratching feels good in the moment, but you will pay later. Aggravates the skin barrier, and you can introduce bacteria into the skin that leads to a skin infection. So you want to get ahead of the itch. Get in the shower and put the cool water on. I know right now in the biohacking world, ice baths, cold showers, some sort of penitential act young men are doing these days. Take a cool shower. It doesn't have to be ice cold, okay? I don't know what they're going on about, but a cool shower. This is not the time to be going in a hot sauna. Stay out of the hot sauna. This is not the time to be getting in the hot tub. No, cool shower. And as much as I advocate exercise, working out, if you've got heat rash, you need to take a break. You need to take a break from working out, because working out is going to generate heat in the body, and in order to cope with that, your body's supposed to sweat. But you have this rash going on, the sweat glands are plugged up, it's not going to happen for you. You're going to get overheated, and the sweat rash is going to get worse, last longer, go deeper, you'll end up with pus bumps, be itchier. I mean, just take a couple of days off from the gym. You will not lose your gains, and you'll take back control of your skin issue. Here's one of the main reasons why people get into the trap, quite literally, of trapping sweat so close to the skin surface that it plugs up the little eccrine sweat gland and leads to heat rash, is that what are you wearing? What are you wearing? It's hot, it's humid. Why are you wearing leggings and expecting this to not be an issue for you. Why are you wearing those tight jeans? I know the skinny jeans fad is over, but jeans, tight jean shorts, it's any wonder why you're getting this rash. You've got sweat being trapped up close to the skin surface, especially in the folds, So stick to loose, breathable fabrics, but once you're in the throes of prickly heat, you know, again, you don't want to swaddle yourself. That's what gets you into this mess in the first place, is occlusion. So stick to the loose fabric. Just put on your pajamas and chill out. Put on a movie, do a little cool compress, relax, calm down, take a deep breath. Now, I mentioned the cool showers, but if you don't want to go that route, another thing is a cool bath. If you have a tub, take advantage of the bath to just get in there and chill out. Make a cool bath, put on a movie, relaxing. I know it's hard for you to relax. This is what you need to do, is to chill out. So take a cool bath. And I told you this doesn't involve a bunch of skincare products, because let's face it, you develop prickly heat, you're not going to be wanting to run to the drugstore and pick up a bunch of stuff that you're only going to use for the next couple of hours. But if you happen to have this around, you know, it's in your first aid kit, I would add it to the bath, and that is colloidal oatmeal. Colloidal oatmeal is just so soothing, it's so hydrating, it's really a great skin protectant. You do not want to be greasing up your skin with petroleum jelly right now, because it'll trap more sweat close to the skin surface and aggravate the rash, but a colloidal oatmeal bath can be great. If you don't have a tub, but you happen to have some colloidal oatmeal around, or you want to stock up on it in case you get heat rash this summer, what you can do is put a little bit of it in like a bowl, a tub, and get a washcloth and do those cool compresses and just let it glide over the skin. You don't want to be experimenting with a bunch of jazzy skincare products in an effort to get symptomatic relief, because it can backfire. It can backfire. You know, I mentioned that heavy moisturizers may trap sweat to the skin surface, aggravate this even further, but also you don't want to be trying out a bunch of scented creams, exfoliating products. You don't want to be using body wash, because you've got an impaired barrier, you have really sensitive, hyper irritated skin right now. This is not the time to be doing some elaborate routine. Just soak in the tub, maybe add a little bit of colloidal oatmeal and move on. I mentioned don't scratch, and I've told you guys this before. I hate the phrase don't scratch, because if you've ever had itchy skin, this is like blowing in someone's face and saying don't blink. It's almost impossible. The cold temperature will help you out. Now, I mentioned don't experiment around with a lot of jazzy ingredients, but a lotion with pramoxine, which is a topical anesthetic that can alleviate itch, found in certain Sarna lotions, CeraVe Itch Relief. If you happen to have that around, you might want to chill it in the refrigerator for a bit, get it cold, apply it to the skin chilled. It will also offer some symptomatic relief. But speaking of cooling the skin for symptomatic relief, here's the other thing. It's not like my favorite thing, but a lot of people have it around, and it can be particularly useful, and that is to get yourself an ocean of calamine lotion. Not an ocean of it, but calamine lotion is a shaker lotion. You got to shake it up before you apply it, but it can be particularly soothing. And the nice thing about calamine lotion is that it evaporates, the water in it evaporates and has a cooling effect. So it can be really nice in this situation, and it helps to soothe itch. If I haven't already posted it, I'm going to have at least the next couple of days, if it's not already up. If it's up, there'll be a card floating around here somewhere, okay? And it'll be, you know, in the description box. But I'm gonna have a video all about calamine lotion, okay? And the multiple uses for calamine lotion. So get summer ready, okay? Get summer ready in that regard. It's already up. It's either already up or it will be up. If it's already up, it'll be linked in the descripto and pinned in the comments. So calamine lotion can be very soothing. The other thing is to get yourself some fans. Let air circulate, you know, around the skin. Stand butt naked in front of a fan. That'll help you out. If it's in the skin folds, as is often the case, lift your arms up, lift the skin up, the skin folds, let the air go on over that. Those are the tips, all right? You got a full protocol here of what to do that I just laid out for you. You're gonna need to take it easy. So for example, you got home from work, you've got time. You got home from work, you were out all day in the sun doing your job, and you came home and now you're itchy, it's uncomfortable. You may need to take it easy tomorrow, but at the very least, you're going to need to take it easy tonight and do these things. How long long is it gonna take for this to go away? Kind of depends. It can go away in a day if you do the things I outline here. You don't wrap yourself up in swaddling clothes, do an intense workout. It can go away in a day, but if it's really deep, like the plug of the sweat gland is pretty deep and you've developed like these little pus bumps, may take longer, couple of days. All right, provided you do these things. Provided you do these things, you give yourself some time to recover. But you may be able to get this under good control in a day. So that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Make sure that while you're in the throes of the heat rash, you don't go out in the sun and the heat and get yourself hot and sweaty again, because it's going to be very hard to get control of it. Ideally, this happens on a Friday and you have the weekend off. That's the ideal thing. Ideally, it happens on a Friday and you don't maybe have to work in the sun in the heat on Saturday and Sunday, although I know a lot of people who work outdoors, they're working every day, it seems like. So hopefully those tips help. Now, once you get it under control, it goes away. Prevention, because the summer is not going to last a week. It's going to be hot for several months. What can you do to prevent this from happening or recurring? Well, you got to be strategic in what you do. Make sure that you're not wearing, again, swaddling clothes. Wear appropriate clothing. It can pay off in so many ways. Cuts down on chafing, cuts down on the risk of heat rash, cuts down on body odor because you're not having sweat trapped in tight clothes that don't breathe and allow moisture wicking, cuts down on fungal skin infections. I mean, loose, breathable fabrics. Stay cool. Try and keep the skin cool as much as possible, and make sure you do what you can to get in the AC. When you are, for example, on your lunch break, try and go in a cool environment. Get in the car, turn the air conditioning on if you can. Cool the skin. It will help. And if you can't do that, reach in your lunchbox and pull out that ice pack before it thaws out while you're eating your lunch and cool yourself off a bit. The other thing that can be really helpful is, remember, a lot of this is triggered in the skin folds, where you have skin-on-skin contact, you have friction, and you have trapping of sweat plugging up the glands. So do things in advance that cut down on moisture being trapped in those areas, like a powder. A powder in the skin folds can help quite a bit in cutting down on that moisture, which can include the sweat glands. Admittedly though, powders can sometimes get a little cakey, flaky, and actually a bit abrasive. The other product I highly recommend, it's underrated for the skin folds, that you can wear during the day, like under the abdominal folds, under the arms, that won't make you overheated because it allows for good evaporation of sweat, is that Monistat Powder Relief Chafing Gel. That is awesome for allowing, again, the sweat. You want the sweat to be able to evaporate. You don't want to put something on there, like, as much as I love petroleum jelly for cutting down on friction and cutting down on chafing, if you are physically outdoors in the heat, you want something that's also going to allow for good evaporation of sweat. So that's why I like that so much. It's not super expensive. You don't need a ton of it. In the skin folds, it can cut down on heat rash, ultimately, just by cutting down on collection of moisture in those areas. So that's another thing. All right, y'all, that's my protocol. That's the protocol and the prevention tips. Heat rash is not fun, and it impairs your thermoregulatory mechanism, so it's something to definitely take seriously, and it's uncomfortable, it's itchy. So doing these things can not only help it go away faster, but can make you feel better, feel more comfortable, not be itchy, scratching, and all of the things that go along with having heat rash. I really hope this video was helpful to you guys. Now, if that calamine lotion video is up, I'm going to link it on the end slate, but if it's not, I'm going to link my heat stroke video on the end, because you want to be prepared. You want to be prepared, and all of these videos will be linked in the description box and in a pinned comment. So educate yourself so that you are prepared for the heat. The heat is going to be on, cranked up. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. Show up to the party cool, calm, collected. You'll have a better summer. All right, y'all, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.